Hey everyone, Eddie here. I wanted to share a little bit of co-founder why I'm so excited about it, and I wanted to highlight a feature that I think particularly makes it powerful called automations. And this is based on a real customer that I spoke with a couple months ago. It's actually a massage therapist business, and they explained to me that while running payroll on Gusto is fairly quick, it's a lot of the work before the work. All the stuff that they have to do before running payroll on Gusto that takes a lot of time that they do every other week. And so I'm going to just show how we can automate that using Gusto Cofounder. So in this particular company, actually, before I do anything, I'm going to show you that I've connected it to Google Sheets, and I've also connected it to Slack and also text message. So those are some of the building blocks that make this really powerful, as you'll see in a moment. So here's a spreadsheet that I created. This is a fake spreadsheet, but it mimics what this company in New York does every week. They actually use MindBody to track all of their massage therapists' hours and what they sell. They export something from there, and then they put in a spreadsheet. They have these calculations, these kind of Excel formulas that they put in here to get the hours, and then they go into Gusto, put it in, key it in every week, and they do that every other week. It takes a lot of time. So I'm just gonna like basically write down exactly what they told me, how they do things. So here's a spreadsheet which I've exported work information from MindBody. I've connected to my Google Sheets, so you should have access to it. And this is the link here. Every 2 weeks, I export this sheet from MindBody. I do some calculations and input numbers in Gusto to run my payroll. Running payroll in Gusto is pretty quick, but all the steps before it take a lot of time. I'd love for you to do this for me. I run a massage studio. I have 4 employees, which you can see in the massage therapist column on the spreadsheet. Each therapist is paid 1 hour for a 60-minute massage and 1.5 hours for a 90-minute massage. This is really how they do things. When it comes to calculating their payroll amount, I've already inputted their pre-negotiated rates into Gusto. All you need to do is put in the total calculated number of hours based on the massage services that they provided. Note that this is different from their actual hours worked. This is just how we do things around here. If they upsell the customer with hot stone treatment, for each hot stone treatment, they get an additional $15 bonus. If they upsell CBD oil, they get an additional $20 bonus for each sale. It's a little more complicated than that, but I've simplified it here. When it comes to calculating bonus, just put it all in as one total amount. Don't split it out, the bonus by line items. Finally, we share our tips together. At the bottom of the spreadsheet, in the group tips section, you'll see our pooled tips. Please just divide that among all of our employees evenly as an additional bonus. Again, just put all the bonus together in one lump sum. I've added a tab for every 2 weeks, which aligns with our payroll. Please prepare and run my payroll. And so I'm going to show like kind of a one-off where, you're using this thing in sort of a conversational manner. But the idea is that like once this gets to a spot where I feel comfortable that it can do things with this sort of repeated message, I'm going to turn this into an automation so that it could just run this for me every other week so that I don't even have to run payroll at all. So here you can see that co-founder is going to be asking me for permissions to execute some tools, which I will consent to. That's part of our security model here. Now, if I get tired of doing that, I can, of course, say allow for this chat so that it's not going to ask me every single time it wants to get some data from Gusto or take an action on Gusto. I can also say allow forever if I really trust it and just, let it rip and let it basically do things without asking for permission first. Okay, so you can see it's like done a bunch of stuff. I think it grabbed stuff from the spreadsheet and it's actually updating my payroll. You can see here, this is the traditional web application. I'm calling it traditional now because I think it is traditional and kind of getting a legacy soon. And we have a payroll here that needs to be run. Okay, so looks like it. It figured out exactly how many effective hours that each of my massage therapists worked. It also calculated the bonus based on the upsells that they did and the amount they get per. So let's see. Okay, it's pointing out that I actually made a typo, but it figured out how to match it, which is nice. Let me just fix that for next time. ISAIAA. Okay. And then Pod Ocon. Okay, everyone else matches. Great. Thank you, co-founder. Okay, and then It's saying, yeah, I just want to confirm. I'll just say yes, sure. Oh, look, and it actually proactively said, I can turn this into a repeatable workflow. So every 2 weeks, I do this for you without you asking. How nice. Okay, so this is, by the way, is a special tool because running payroll is especially sensitive. You won't see the allow for this conversation or always allow. It's always going to ask for consent here. And then for extra security, if you're not stepped up, we're going to ask you to step up so that we really know that it's you and not someone else. So I just got a text message here. You can see. I don't know if you can see, but it's just texting me a code. I'm gonna put this in here. I'll use security folks. I hope you like that. And since I got the code right, it's gonna submit my payroll. Great. It submitted my payroll and it told me the amounts, told me who's on it, how much they're getting paid. These other folks, by the way, are the non-hourly workers uh, that are getting paid regular amounts. So you can see the payroll is gone here. It's been run. If I go to pay history, I can see my payroll. Great. Looks good. Okay. So that is really just the beginning. In fact, I think everything we showed is pretty basic in my opinion. You could do that with ChatGPT and Gusto's MCP server. It's actually not that special. I think where this thing gets really powerful is when you turn this into an automation. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to cancel this payroll and I'm going to now say, okay, did a good job. So I'm going to just have it. You did a great job here. So actually, I want you to do this for me every 2 weeks. So I don't have to run payroll ever again. All I want you to do is once you get the total payroll amounts, just send me a Slack message and tell me the total amounts and maybe any kind of abnormalities, maybe some just high level summary so that I can go in and actually just run the payroll. By the way, if you're not using Whisperflow, you should because it's so much faster than just typing. Okay, send me the Slack summary as soon as you calculate the payroll amounts. Okay, so it's updating my automation. It's automation as a task. We just kind of like change the name of it. Sometimes you'll see tasks still. Okay, so just run the task every day to see if there's any payrolls to be run and check the spreadsheet to see if there's a matching pay period. If there is, run the payroll. Okay, so I actually gonna go to this automation here. I think it was this one. Okay, so you can see here, it's set to run every single day at 8 a.m. Just picked 8 a.m., but I could have told it any other day. I could say every other day. I could say every time it rains, every time there's a full moon. I could say whatever I want, and it'll run it on that schedule. I'm not gonna wait for the next day. Otherwise, this will be a long loom video. So I'm gonna just hit the run now button and have it simulate running this automation. And what's going to happen is it's going to run this every single day now since it's set to run every day. And if there's no payroll to be run, obviously it's going to just exit and not do anything. But if there is a payroll to be run, which there should be now since I canceled it, it's going to try to run it. And so you can see Cofounder actually decomposed the problem into steps for itself. I didn't tell it these steps. It just came up with it on its own. And right now you can follow along as it does the automation. Right now it's grabbing my spreadsheet and it's matching the payroll to the Sheets tab. It's calculating the hours just as it did before. And it's pretty exciting, right? Because like just I only spent what 10 minutes on this and I've basically automated my payroll. Think about all the other things that one can automate in their business. The natural things that people will think about are things that they can do on Gusto, like running payroll, approving expenses, summarizing, I don't know, time off amounts, reminders to their employees to submit their timesheets, things like that. But there's no reason why it needs to be limited to just Gusto. I think there's lots of things that they can do to automate the business that has nothing to do with Gusto at all. Co-founder can help with that. For example, if you're a brick and mortar business, you may be able to just tell it to check the weather on the internet every single day. And if it's going to rain, send you a text message about that's going to rain. That way you can, prepare your employees or your customers for, slightly wet weather. A lot of businesses are affected by the rain. And so that's an automation that you could program within Gusto Cofounder. Okay, so you can see that it went through this and I got a Slack message here from co-founder. And you can see here, you got a little notification. Look, pay period, check date, here's the amount that's going to be debited. Here's the hours, the bonus. Here's what it did. Great. It prepared my payroll for me. Now all I have to do is basically go into here and submit it. There's no reason why it can't go all the way through. I could have just told it to, let's just try it. Can you run it? I've actually never tried this before. If this doesn't work, I still think this is a pretty cool thing. Okay. By the way, this is a new sort of Slack experience. Instead of your traditional Slack conversation with another human, a Slack conversation with AI assistant looks like this, where each of these is like a DM. Okay, so it claims to have run my payroll. Let's see. Actually, I'm very curious. It's it's gone. It ran. Amazing. So now I can go here and you can see my payroll. I can cancel it again. Hopefully, this gets you really excited. I'm really excited. Even I get surprised sometimes at what it can do. And yeah, I hope we can like really convey the power of this to our customers.